Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Bob here. Sorry the intro was a bit it's a bit longer than normal. I'm playing some more Project Gorgon today. I thought I'd stream just to do a couple of things really. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do them, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find the NPC that trains vampirism. I waited years for vampirism to come out, and it never came in. I think quite recently it has. I think it was the most recent combat skill, so we're going to try and unlock that. The full moon has passed, so I'm back as my true form. I think vampirism is one of those skills that you do again, and it's got some minus points. So I think if you're out in the sun, you take damage and burn and die probably. No, in this game, which is fair enough. But I don't mind that. What I quite like playing around like mechanics of like say a class, for example. What I don't like, and unfortunately, I looked this morning and I've in total I've almost put 900 hours into Project Gorgon, so I played the game a lot. But one of the things that I'm not a massive fan of in games is where kind of stuff is locked behind, where I kind of feel that basic stuff is locked behind things which I just think can be damaging to the game, or a game, not necessarily this game. In this case, a lot of the classes, particularly like even trade classes, can be locked behind like a horrible grind or a thing that's just not something where a new player is not going to be able to achieve it essentially. And some people might like that, some classes they call, they say that they're kind of for more experienced players and stuff, which is fine. But I just think it's one of those decisions, I think, where you kind of like, it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face type thing, where you might get someone who says, oh, I really want to be a vampire. An MMO where I can be a vampire, that sounds really cool, but the reality is that they're going to have to put in an awful lot of work to get to that point, and I never quite understand that. I'd be more inclined to kind of give them the class they want to play, and then have mechanics within that class that make it challenging, make the class itself challenging, but not the actual obtaining of the class. That's how I feel about it anyway. I always felt that like obviously MMOs have to have some content that is locked behind levels or whatever it may be, but I was never a big fan of locking content behind locking things like classes behind grinds and level walls and difficulty walls, whatever it may be. But that's just me. But we'll see how we go. I'm not, knowing the game like I do, I'm not expecting to be able to unlock Vampire. I'm assuming there's going to be some, not today anyway, I'm assuming there's going to be some, something that, that makes it hard to do. I think one of these skills gives me a bit of power. Not any of those though. I realised yesterday when I've been running around really slowly that I do have a travel kit of equipment. It's not the best, it's just basic, but it does allow me to run a bit quicker. It's a bit like yesterday when we was talking about like the werewolf, where you've got to, where a werewolf, where you're playing as a wolf and you get cold. They said maybe it was like a magical cold, I don't know. But I find it weird to be a flying creature and like having to come down and run for a period of time. I don't know. It seems like a bad way of balancing flight. Like if you don't want people to fly, just don't put flying in, But I really don't think that my guy would probably have to rest from flying. And the thing is now he's running, which is probably taking him more effort than it would be flying from an energy point of view. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's like I said yesterday, like I've put clearly, you know, like I think we need to go this way. Clearly, Project Gorgon is the indie MMO that I played the most by far, I think, probably. And it was kind of a game where previously I always thought it's going to be kind of like the game, you know. I think I don't really. There's so much content, so many brilliant ideas and stuff for it. Oh, what did I get? Some stuff. There was something inside, nothing particularly interesting. But as I've said before, you know, it's just one of those games where everything becomes like a real kind of drag, a real grind. The higher level, the higher up you get. And as I said, there are a lot of different skills and stuff that are just locked behind grinds and stuff, which I just don't really. But it is what it is. You know, what are you going to do? We will play it for as long as we're enjoying it again, and then we won't. I guess I'm sure one of these gives me a little bit of power. Restore. That one does. Except it kind of didn't. Okay. I've only had a brief. I don't know anything about vampirism. I haven't looked at the skills or anything. All I know is that I was waiting for it for a long time, and I wanted to pair it with my giant bat skill. Yeah, so I'm assuming it synergizes with giant bat. I hope so. We'll see. Am I in the wrong place? Might be. Oh no, Kerr is. Where am I? I'm there. Yeah, so it's the portal to Kerr is in here. I remember I couldn't find it yesterday. Boarkild is one of my favourite zones, actually. It's a dungeon. It's really cool. I love the atmosphere. I think we're going to go. I need to go to Povus. So I think we're going to go the Rahu way, I think. I could just go Gaz, I suppose. Maybe we'll do that. We'll see. I've got some water, so maybe going the Rahu way is the best way. Apparently, the zone where the vampire trainer is off of Povus or Gaz, but it's not marked on the wiki on any of the maps. So we will have to see how we go. I could be, I mean, to be honest, I could be flying a lot longer than I am. I just need to get better travel gear. I could probably upgrade my energy, you know, my skills that regen my energy and that kind of thing. So, I'm not quite sure what this does. You're being rained on. Okay. I actually like this zone. I like the there's a big draw distance, and I think it still kind of fits in with the the more kind of retro look visually, whereas some of the other zones look a bit Unity dull kind of thing. The updates to them anyway that they've done. Oh, there it is. I think the ports are in the same place. I'm not sure if some of these zones have been updated yet, but like this zone still looks fairly similar to what it did before. It's funny when you come into an old MMO that has just been released. I did do the quotation mark thing there, and you kind of get this funny dynamic in the chat where you got the know-it-all players who've been playing for ages. Who it's funny when you get two of them with contradictory opinions, because they all like puff up their feathers, and I saw it a few times yesterday. It's quite funny. They get particularly indignant when a newer player, like any MMO really, like questions something. You know, it's always quite funny. And then you just got the I want to be seen kind of players, you know, or content creators actually, where they kind of like they're kind of creative. The character has got a name the same as their YouTube streaming or content thing or whatever, you know, and they just stand somewhere and look at me kind of thing, you know. It's funny. It's funny. The psychology of it is very interesting. I'm sure it's the same in whatever you're into though, whether it's cars, fishing rods, or whatever. You know, if you go whatever forum you go to about something, I imagine it's exactly the same. And you also probably get old bastards like me moaning about stuff. That's a given. It's been a long time since I did this, but I think when we zone into Rahu, I think the teleport to Povus is to the south. I haven't been to the new zones yet. I hope they've had some just design choice changes. Like I hated Povus. I don't like Povus as a zone, and I just purposely avoided it really, because it's one of those zones where you don't get a chance to breathe particularly. Even as a flying class, it's like there are mobs everywhere, so you're constantly having to avoid mobs. There's just too many. I think this zone actually suffers from a similar thing. Doesn't look so bad here actually. I just seem to remember Povus where you just couldn't stop and catch your breath for a second. It's just like blanket mobs everywhere, and I think that's just a lazy challenge thing really. I don't think it's particularly fun. I think the thing is as well is it's one of those things, isn't it, where you, like in some games people complain about there's not enough content, particularly in the early levels. But like even when the servers are really busy like they are now, you know, there are just some areas that people just don't go to level up, you know. I think that's just one of those things where you could probably do something different with the zones. I think the other thing as well was that it's one of those things where you just got mobs, like you got an evil beggar, but then you got undead wizards, and you got rhinos. There's no kind of continuity to what's going on. Oh yeah. I don't know why my stamina's taking so long to regenerate. It's interesting though, isn't it? Like how we've spoken about this before. How you get like a game, an indie game where, well, indie games where there's no real control over it from a point of view of. It's just all about sometimes like one or a small amount of developers, and I think there's just much more of a tendency to just throw every idea into your game that you've got, even if some of those ideas are just either just bland or even just downright like poor decisions. But there's no kind of real. I think that's what I said it before, didn't I? About if you think about your best game, the best games you ever played, generally, apart from, I'm sure there are people who would be disagreeable about it, but I think most people's favourite games would have had a publisher of some kind. Someone with their, where it wasn't just a developer just putting all of their ideas into a game. Where am I? There's the city. Not sure if it's worth us travelling around the outside of the zone. Oh, there we go. That's very kind. They've actually put the Vidaria teleport on the map that I can see. So it's basically to the west. Far west. Okay. It does seem more prevalent in MMOs, though, I find. I think that's, again, I'm repeating myself, but like if I think of a game like Valheim, Valheim I think was made just for the sort of people that like that type of game by someone who has very recently played a lot of that game and been obsessed with it. Whereas I think MMOs just seem to be a bit of a different thing. I'm not sure that. I would question how much time. Like even if you've worked on a retro MMO before, I'd be interested to know how much time people have played classic MMOs before they started. How much time they put into them before they started developing their own game. And I kind of think that I'm talking about that proper, really. Like, I'm sure that, I don't know, but it feels like the guy, for example, who created Valheim probably played hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of that type of game before designing their own game. I think also that maybe I was talking about a video that I saw where, alongside that video that I was talking about indie games just being kind of like personal, like selfish projects for the developer, and they don't really care who likes it or not. I watched something else where they were talking about that, like indie MMOs, well, like MMOs in general have just been done. That's it. You don't. There's nothing else that you can do. But people are maybe striving to do something in a situation where they're not able to. Like pretty much, if you look at the big ones, EverQuest, Ultra Online, Dark Age of Camelot, whatever, Classic WoW, that's it. you know, and I kind of feel that maybe people are trying to iterate or maybe even improve that, but you're not going to, you're not going to. I'm not going to get sidetracked. I said yesterday that I saw trained war barcast. Can I tame? Is that tameable? Extreme regeneration. It's level 75. So I probably need to. I think my animal taming skill. I don't know. Let's not get sidetracked. There's some skeletal mobs over here though, so I wonder if. Hey guys, how you doing? So I wonder if that skeletal pet that I saw yesterday is around here. Goblin paleontologist down there, and you got all the dinosaur bones and stuff. That's I like that. I like that. So I like this because it kind of makes sense. You know, I can speak Goblin. You can learn Goblin in the game. Those goblins are obviously, the paleontologists are obviously angry for some reason. But I like the fact that there's the paleontologists and all the dinosaur bone things. Yeah, I haven't seen any of those. I haven't seen any of those yet. I'm assuming it was a. I mean, when I checked, because you can check out the person to see what skills they've currently got, what got active, and the guy with the bone animal pet was a did have animal taming as opposed to necromancy. Yeah, I don't know. It essentially looked a little bit like the Grimalkin model, but just bones. Right, I've never been to this zone before. I think this has been added since I last played. Ooh, look at that. A plus for the game is that you do get some really, really cool zone designs. Oh, there's in this zone there are stars on the map that says something's happening here. That's interesting. Never seen that before. Oh, we've got angry mushrooms. A level 95 mushroom. Ay, ay, ay. Now, wouldn't it be cool if they put something on top of here for those who can fly? No. Hopefully you can stand on top of it. Yeah, you can. Cool. Excellent. On top of a giant mushroom. This game has a lot of those things that I like as well. That you see quite often in like little secrets, like EverQuest, had a lot of little ways to unlock certain things and whatnot. This has got a lot of that stuff going on. I think we can probably fly up there, can we? Let's go and check it out. I'm not sure if it's one of you guys watching at the moment, but I know someone said yesterday that, like, the travelling side of an MMO or any game really is what did we get? Rhodium, an awesome animal skin, and some coins. And we mentioned City of Heroes, which is absolutely one of those. Okay, there's some shit going on here. A level 90 elemental with 61,000 hit points. Automaton. Okay. Yeah, and travelling in this game is so cool. Oh, not now, friend. We're just exploring. Oh, some mobs on the cliff face here. Only stuck there for all eternity. Okay. Little camp down here. There's lots of these little secret chests around, I've noticed, that I haven't seen before. Seem to get much in them. I'm not sure if there are some rares and you might get something good. Fomerite, demonic amber. Sometimes it tells you what things are for, sometimes not. Oh, fly, you fool. Fly, you fools. Okay. I'm not sure if they'll talk to me. Might do. They've got their own automaton. I wonder if you can get like an automaton pet somewhere. Ah, so I need to learn Orcish. Cool. To learn Goblin, you generally had to kill goblins and read their books. Weird. So, that's weird. So my character could not fly here. Can't fly here. That's odd. You know what, mate? It's been so long since I did it. I'm not sure. I kind of think that I probably did everything before leaving. I think the min-max way, if there is a min-max way, is just to... I think you can level up quite a few skills there before you venture off. Yeah, I mean, with this sort of game, with this sort of MMO RPG, like your skills go up fairly quickly early on, so you do kind of outgrow any equipment you get like reasonably early on. I can fly here again. This is a cool looking bit. Oh, hang on. What is that? Frostbite. Oh man. Let's warm ourselves up a bit. Cool zone. Textures and stuff are a lot more detailed here than I would say they were. Not well in kind of older zones, but as I say, I guess it's a shame that it feels like they're going for like more of a generic Unity look as opposed to the kind of what we got down here. It's cool. I wonder if there's something buried in there. I wonder where that leads to. Looks like it comes out of there. It's funny, there's a little section here where the game won't let me fly. It's weird. Can't fly at all here. Can't fly at all. Oh, very strong winds. You can't fly here. Okay. That's a bit naff. That's a bit naff. Look at my wingspan. do you think very strong winds would So here's one of the things with this game, and it's one of the reasons I stopped playing it before, is that while it might seem like a small thing, overall this happens a lot, where the game kind of gives you something and it's really cool, and then just for some reason it takes it away. And that is just something that summed this game up for me in a nutshell. There's so much cool stuff, but then it just shoots itself in the foot by saying, okay, well, you can't do that because of this. And it really just is one of those games. And it doesn't even kind of really feel like logical, really. It's like I've got a 10, 12 foot wingspan. like what sort of strong winds would stop me flying? And I know that I'm just being too logical about it, but it's just one of those. It just is that sort of game. And as I said, this is just a really small thing, really. It's not big drama. But the reason I stopped playing the game before is that there's just so many of these things where it has all of these brilliantly cool ideas, but then there's just some wall in the way that stops you from enjoying it as much as you might want to, you know. It's, yeah. And it doesn't even really feel as though there's a point to it, or it's like about challenge. It's just more about, I don't know, more about, again, just design decisions that... But maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. To a certain extent, this zone also suffers from a problem that many of the other zones suffer from, is that there's always a mob around the corner. So it's quite difficult just to take 5 minutes. I'm not sure if... Oh, this is actually a... I don't think this is a safe zone for me. No. Level 95 orcs, which are... I mean, I'm assuming they're aggressive because they're red. So to me, like, the design for this section here, to me, seems as though we've got classes that fly, but we don't want them to fly over this bit. So we're going to make up something which means that they can't fly over this bit. And that's just the design stuff that I really don't like in games. In any games, not just, you know, single player games, whatever. It's like just arbitrary reasons as to why the developers just don't want you to do something. Yeah. Anyway. So I don't think that... Okay, so there's a nice clear area here. That's good. So I need to look at the dude that I'm looking for. The dude that I'm looking for is called... I've got no idea where they are. Truxartis, and he is below a tower in the northeastern hills. Okay, so we will head in that direction. Hope the stream is okay. I checked. I played around with some stuff, and I watched the. I quickly looked at the VOD yesterday, and I think that the quality was much better. I wasn't really utilising my equipment as well as I should have been. I wonder if there are some new tames, new high-level tames here. I don't think my skill's probably high enough to tame them though, so I'd have to kind of like commit to the game a bit and do some leveling and stuff. But I'd have to think about that. Ooh, look at that. He's nice. Wonder what that's down there. We will check it at some point, I guess. Ooh. A floaty thing. Let's have a look. When I think of the amount of hours I've played this game, and I'm sure at least half of those hours was trying to. Ooh, look at that! What is that? I'm sure half of those hours were trying to unlock battle chemistry, and then leveling it up. What is that? Can't select it. Wow, that's cool. Not sure if it's reflecting what's around it or if inside there's actually something inside. Oh, well, I guess we're going to have to check it out, aren't we, I suppose. Oh. Is there something inside? I'm not sure. Not sure. From here, travel west to the short stone wall. Okay, why would we do that? Something else down here looks interesting. This is a cool zone from a look point of view. It's a great vibe. I like how it's... I'm not quite sure what sort of performance you'd get. Depending on your system, I guess. But yeah, it's... I've got everything turned up. Mostly, I think. Oh, look at that dive. That's a cool dive. So we've got some red... We've got some infernal pigs. Lol. Wonder if you can tame any of these. It is level 95, so obviously... I don't think you can tame pigs, actually. So another one of those orbs over here. This one looks like it's a bit hot around it. Maybe there's some story here. Maybe the infernal pigs and animals are here because... Oh, no. I like how the light is reflecting off my character's face here on my stat bar. That's pretty awesome. Oh, so this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. You got your area where you got mobs, and then you got a little bit where you can just take it easy. There's even a player. Is there a player over there killing some mobs? Is it a player? Dead. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, he's dead. That's one tough hog. Over 4,000 hit points that hog's got. It's fun. Again, it's a really like kind of like funny design choice, isn't it? To like because it's a high level zone. The pigs have to be high level as well. I mean, I don't know who's been training them, but yeah, it's funny. I love the vibe in this zone. Oh, what? Oh man, that's right. I hit a wall there. The cool zone. There's some mobs up on the hill there with like lights glowing around them. Not quite sure who they are. A teleport. Is this to a dungeon? So State Helm. State Helm is the new big zone apparently. It's a big city. And it may be like an adventuring zone as well. So we'll check that out before the end of the video. Of a Vidarian snail. Lots of eggs. There's a chicken around here, an egg somewhere. Hellfire. Demonic Hellfire recepts your ability to do much of anything. All abilities cost 2 extra. Oh, man. This poxy game, honestly. Just the amount of stupid status effects you get just for being in a zone. And again, like I know that if you've started playing the game recently, you know, this stuff occurs more and more over time. Like, how do I cure it? Can I cure it with... I just hate this stuff. Hate these walls that games put in the way. It's not even like a challenging wall or a combat wall or something. It's just a wall. Yeah. I think like Project Gorgon, I think was probably the first game to do like negative environmental but debuffs and stuff, and I just don't like them. I just don't like them. I mean, I'm not even sure how to get rid of this now. It's like, these guys are not aggressive. I don't think. Crash, smash, dead. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer. You know, I played this game for nearly 900 hours, but these are the sort of things. I mean, I can't remember what it was before, but I just logged out and I didn't come back again. You know, and it's like, as I said, like a lot of these things might seem like small in isolation, but they just mount up until you just think, it's one negative thing after another. You know. Maybe it's because I went to a certain location. I'm not sure. Maybe it was going near that stone. It could have been that. I can't cure it with my relatively low-level treat disease. Is it a disease? No, it doesn't say it's a disease. I think we'll not go that way. So there's obviously some kind of hellfire meteor type thing going on here. So hit the ground. Seems though there's some... Oh, an infernal rat. I wonder if you can tame those. I'm kind of just looking for tames here, aren't I, really? That's the deal. I think this video is more exploring, actually, just having a look around than... as I said, like I'm sure the vampire skill is locked behind something or other. you know, quests that are hard to complete or whatever they may be. We'll see. I love these snails. I'm not sure if you can, but I always thought it would be cool if you could have them as a mount. There's a heavy metal band. I can't remember their name. It's kind of like really heavy, like Doom metal type thing, and a lot of their demonic swarmer. Oh, little dudes don't have a level. So there's obviously some demon shit going down here, it looks like. As David Brent would say. Gargoyles. Got these prisms that have also got hit points. Okay. A tunnel scorpion. Scorpion nest. Interesting. A nest of burrowing scorpions has erupted. Repel the scorpions before they spread. Okay. Morning, mate. How you doing? I think it's interesting. I think it's kind of a real shame, I think, with a lack of interest in the MMOs at the moment, is that there's just so much kind of content that's been created that probably will almost never get, you know, like played much. And I do, you know, harping on about it, but I do still feel that, you know, developers have to take the bulk of the responsibility for that. But I mean, this looks like a little group activity where you close the scorpion burrow, but really, who's ever going to do that? I mean, the scorpions are level 95 or something. I don't. Yeah, who's ever going to do the content? I don't. It's just such a shame. Okay, well, I think I saw some buildings up here. So we're looking for there's a little camp down there. Let's go and check that out. A hearty swamp rat. So we're looking for a tower with a vampire-y dude outside. Let's go and see who's here first. The Watchful's telescope. Liamu the Watchful. Orcish? Oh no. Oh, training in calligraphy. Okay. Small talk. Okay. In case you're not aware, nearly all NPCs have a faction level or a favour level, they call it. There's no U though, which is slightly annoying. Which you can increase, and it unlocks things as you increase your faction level with the mob, with the character NPC. You can unlock shiz to do and buy and whatever it may be. What is that? A demon scout. Okay, so here's it. Oh, look at that. Now that is a vampire's tower, if ever I've seen one. It is. There is an aggressive mountain goat there. Wow. Ooh. What is that? That's an interesting. Oh, it's a figurine, a statue. Looks like a guy with a cloak over half. That's very dramatic. Okay. Whoa. There's a coffin and a trapdoor. Wow. Is it a coffin? Yeah. I guess he's in the trapdoor. That vampire lord is. Here we go. Ooh, Is it a high level dungeon? Or are we going to get spanked? Oh god, looks like we are. Okay. Oops. Oh no. Hey dude. Okay. I just want to become a vampire. That's basically it. Please don't be angry. A creepy coffin? A blood well. Okay, what's in the creepy coffin? Wow, a talking coffin. You're in a coffin. How big a deal can you be? I've been poisoned by my own kindred. In money, magic gems? Magic. He's got a magical illness, a rare substance known as Akur blood. I know not where I would find this thing. Sages or mystics. Okay. So we've actually got the quest to become a vampire. Blood well, am I guessing is something to do with when you become a vampire? Don't know. I wonder how this person got killed. I wonder if they just attacked this dude. He doesn't know me. Okay. Okay, so he said look for mystics and what have you. So I don't know. Maybe we need to kill mobs in this zone with that. Maybe we need to kill mystics and wizards and stuff in this zone. I don't know if that's the case. That might not be achievable, depending on how tough the mobs are, I guess. Oh, there's a mushroom circle. Mushroom circles you can kind of bind yourself to and then teleport to them. This would probably be a useful one to bind myself to, but I probably don't have the... Oops. That dude aggro from miles away. Alerts others. Okay. What have I'm trying to think of what I've got here. That's no good. Because it's lycanthropy, so I need to change that to my giant bat. I mean, if I can't kill this guy, I might as well go home. He hasn't got a level on him, but I mean, he's got less. There's a sword in the stone here. That's pretty cool. Wow, I didn't realise my mycology skill was so low. So I can't pick up ghost mushrooms yet. Walnuts. Holy walnuts. Ah, mate, you'll have a whale of a time. The brave hero finds all 6 swords. Oh, wow. Sword, I've got a sword in the stone buff. Jump power. That's cool. This game has so many things like that. If you haven't played it before, I think you'll have a whale of a time initially. Like, as I said, I mean, you know, I've put nearly 900 hours in, so. Right, let's check out the map. Okay. So that's kind of where we came in. Okay, I'm sure I haven't got the correct equipment on, but I won't worry about that for now. So this seems to be quite a demon-infested area. Whatever. Jesus Christ, how many hit points was that? Right, so bomb. Man in the coffin. Okay, so I guess we've kind of got to kill sages or mystics, but I wonder if is that just in this zone? I wonder, or could I go to a lower level zone to kill some mysticky type dudes? A hungry hippo. Cleaned up a bit. Okay, so we're back at the beginning of the zone. If you haven't played before, anyone watching, there are some combat skills that you kind of get tied into, so it's worth thinking about. Like lycanthropy, for example. I don't think you can get rid of it. A merry bandit. Yeah, so there are some skill choices you have to think about before you do them, because you kind of get locked in. Denton Razor, isn't it like a Robin Hood type? Drummond Stone Curl. He's a cook. Trains some cooking and foraging. I did quite a lot of geology early on in the game. I'm not sure if it's still the same, but I made loads. I made quite a lot of. That's how I made quite a lot of my money. Just going and finding gems and then selling them at the market. All the animals are aggressive here. All your rats and your... There's loads of, like, if you like gathering, there's loads of gathering skills as well. Loads of crafting. Just loads of stuff. There's a casino. I should probably have a check on the... is this a safe bit? I don't know. Let me just have a quick check on the wiki. So I can find... Mystic. No. Okay. 20. I'm just seeing if there's a 500. God. Okay. I'm just looking to see if there's any mystic, any mobs with the name Mystic or Sage. There are some NPCs that are sages. Maybe. I wonder if I need to find one of those and okay, so there are some sage NPCs. Maybe they sell stuff I need. Because the actual, like the quest, the vampirism wiki quest thing just gives you absolutely nothing. It tells you need blood, but yeah, but it doesn't say where it comes from. It's used in some other recipes, so it must be dropped. It must be dropped. Okay. Well, we'll have a little look around the zone a bit more. So the Scorpion pit is one of the activities that's going on. So, but I'm not sure what I'm going to find, if I'm going to find what I'm looking for in this zone. What we might go and do is we could just go and have a look at the Ghoul. Oh, there's a fight. I got some NPCs fighting. Guards fighting a ghoul. Will the guards win? Oh, probably. Oh. Do you know what? I think this is the first time I've ever seen guards, NPCs fighting mobs in this game. Don't eat my corpse. Wow. I actually got... Okay, so if you want, you can just bring mobs to the guards and loot them. That's cool. Now, I know that if developers are aware of that, they'll change it. Me, I would just leave it because that's quite funny. But okay, we're going in. We're going to see if there's a bottom to this pit. Why not? I'll have to dive. It's so cool. Oh shit. Oh shit. Ah, that's a bit lame. Oh, pronoun. Oh god. Dementia, pronoun trouble. Okay. Oh. Okay, so you can't go down there, but maybe it will be a thing at some point in the future. So this is I've never been to this zone either, so this is supposed to be a huge big city zone, but I kind of think it's for high level players as well, so I'm assuming there are mobs to kill and stuff. Okay. The hell are they? Demons. It's got a demon themed demon themed locations. These two. This is nice. I like this little walkway into. Got a bit of a Grecian kind of feel to it. The same as the architecture. Well, this is a nice looking zone. Oh, look at that. There's a port over there. Oof. Wow. Performance is a bit rough. Even my 5090 is like, nope. Ouch. Wow. Okay, let's get on the ground. It's a bit better down here. Well, this is a cool zone. Be cool if you could. I'm not sure. Maybe you can now. I haven't checked it out for ages, but it'd be cool if you could get battle chemistry. You can get like golem pets. They don't really do a lot. They didn't for me anyway. But it'd be cool if you could get some different pets. Do you know what's weird coming here? This zone just feels so out of place. I guess because it's more thematically like real world, but it just, yeah, it just doesn't feel like it belongs in the game almost. It's weird. Like if you'd removed the UI and I couldn't see my character and you said this was Project Gorgon, I'd be like, that's weird. Yeah. Yeah, this feels like a more just run-of-the-mill traditional kind of RPG environment. Hmm. College of the Bards. Interesting. She doesn't seem to speak. Okay. Bloody racist fairy there. Training. Valid animal assistant permit. Okay, I mean I am an animal. Just looking around. Five gifts per calendar week. Okay. I don't know what she trains because she won't train me at the moment. Undead, otherworldly brains. You feel the brains reaching out to you. Advanced necromancy it requires. Okay, so these are obviously maybe necromancers. I guess these are pets, are they? Okay. I think my model is particularly practical in this location. Favourite flying direction? North. Oh, is there combat going on here? There is. Ratkin Mugger. Level 100. Holy shit. Okay. Not a massive amount of hit points though. Academy of Wizards. Oh, this is where we just were. Oh, I didn't notice you got loads of corpses. Yeah, as we said, obviously the necromantic section. Maelstrom, Farblood. Looks like he could be a dwarf, which dwarves have been coming for a long time as well, but I think the dwarves haven't made it in yet, have they? I don't think. Is this a player or a... No, it doesn't want to talk to bats. Fair enough. No, it doesn't like bats. Screw you. Advanced battle chemistry. I'm sure. Like, my battle chemistry level is 74. I guess it's not high enough. Holy shit. What kind of cranium powered idiot made a familiar out of you? Okay. Nope, can't talk to him. Well, I guess there's stuff to do here. This boy, you think mages will be more receptive of animal forms? I mean, this person's got a talking bird sitting on their desk. What the hell? Maybe this is the animal section. Just talk to the plant then, I guess. Spriggy has got 80,000 hit points. We will leave them alone. Okay, well, I'm somewhat bored with that. I thought there would maybe be like a sage or something there that would help us with our quest, but post office. Oops. Okay, sorry, I was a bit carried away there. I'm just kind of a bit, yeah, I'm a bit thrown by the zone. It feels so different to the rest of the game. Like literally all of the rest of the game. But, you know. Let's see if the zone offers anything else. I imagine it must have some mobs and stuff. Maybe dungeons or whatever it may be. I guess this is the civilised part of the of the world. I wonder if this is where the council is. There's be something hanging in the air there. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to be expanded, but it's like the previous map where the actual area of the map, when you zoom right out, is there's some floating books here. Can't interact with them though. Yeah, the actual zone itself is not as big as it may appear on the map here. But maybe it's going to be expanded upon. There's a rather cool looking tree over there. We'll go and check that out. Could be a druidic thing. I think I saw on the patch notes that the city is supposed to be like the like a hanging out point for the high levels and stuff. And yeah, maybe it's just not finished yet. I don't know. So we can get up there. The save zone, I think. I mean, there are some there are some tombstones around. I'm not sure if how they died. Doesn't like bats either. You think people in a magical world would be more receptive of bats, wouldn't you? Of talking intelligent animals? I guess not. Again, interesting location, just not really much. There seems to be much going on at the moment. But then I couldn't talk to the NPC, so I guess maybe they offer training, etc. Good view from up here. Oh, you can see the outline of the zone here, look. Hailers, yeah. I think it's it's like, I mean, it's always been a bit like it, but I think kind of like social media has made people worse in a in like a public digital space. And I think there's just people who. It's funny because like people complain about P99 and EverQuest being toxic, and it is at kind of like the raid level. But I mean, generally, my experience on P99 of the, I don't know, 15 years I'm playing on it or whatever, or however long it's been, is that like generally, like the etiquette is really good. And I just find, like, even in like other classic MMOs or classic emulated servers or indie MMOs, yeah, I just find the etiquette of it's almost like there's people playing them as they would have played a modern MMO or something or whatever. Not as not as respectful as of what you're doing as So if I was a small animal, I could fit into the pipe. That is not happening right now. Okay, well, I kind of guess this is still a work in progress then, this zone. I personally probably wouldn't come here that much unless I had to. It just doesn't seem to fit in with the rest of the game. It's too real worldy, Mediterranean kind of vibe. Yeah. There's a sleepy mushroom here on the... Oh, it's actually a mob. Strange, there are actually some mobs to kill in this section, it seems. Picnic area. A giant bat swoops down on your picnic. Very armoured, those mushrooms. I guess it must be their soft skin. Your weapons bounce off. You do not meet the requirements for using a manhole. Okay. Which think I need a high vis or something? Could be. I think what probably happened, Liz, is I'm sure that the population at the moment is overinflated, and it will probably settle back down to probably a bit more than it was previously, but you know. I'm sure it will drop. Was that on the island you were on? the Newbie Island. I guess it's probably just like... I guess it's probably just one instance of the zone as well, is there? It's not like yeah. So that looks like it's the end of the zone. Okay. No, can't go that way. Okay, so I guess this zone's still work in progress. That's what we'll say. I think an extra server will be alright as a temporary thing, as long as it's easy for them to transfer people over. Because as I said, I just don't think the population will stay where it is at the moment. I think it's a lot of old players coming back to try it out because it's officially released or whatever on Steam. Probably some people who, for some reason, heard about it but they never tried it, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I would expect the population to drop quite a lot. So. Yeah, what's up there? Oh, it's those statues. I think this is probably going to be another false wall up here, probably. It's one of those things, isn't it? Like I've already seen like quite a lot of like the clickbait swap, the clickbait slop stuff on YouTube, like Project Gorgon, like. Oh my god, I can't believe I never played this game before. Or Project Gorgon. It's like a gazillion times better than it was, a year ago or something. I've seen a few of those videos. I've seen a few people saying, oh, if only more people knew about this game, I think it would be, it's just the same old stuff. And it's not the game's fault. It's just the community and content creators' fault, It's they just don't live in the real world of like niche, indie MMOs. Really, it's kind of like they think there's this like golden goose egg audience out there that have kind of never played an MMO before, and this is the one they're looking for. If only they played it, they'd love it, And we've had it for years with every game that's come out, so you just get used to it, don't you, in the end, I think. I hate those videos though. You get some retard putting a stupid face. X game. Oh my god, I can't believe I haven't played this game before. Oh, and their face is really shocked and stuff. It's like, even if that's what the algorithm tells you that it wants, like, have some self-respect, please. Okay, so let's head back to Vidaria. Okay, so we picked up the quest, I guess. We haven't really done anything about it. Because I'm not quite sure if I'm supposed to kill sage or mystic mobs, or if I'm supposed to look for sages or mystics. But I guess what we'll probably do is maybe we'll head... this zone is very impressive, Liz, actually. It's very high level, so I kind of feel that it's going to be a zone that most of the players currently playing will probably never experience, but it's a nice design. I didn't actually talk to many of the NPCs here. Training. Oh, animal husbandry. There's my pets. And a horse, which I don't think I've ever used. I probably should. We looked in here, it was empty in there, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so. This is a nice zone though, really well designed. Where did we come in? Let's head to the trap bell. We did that, yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I said before, like I don't like the new graphics just because I like the old '90s polygons that they had. This just all starting to look a bit more like Unity, general Unity kind of look. But I mean, I like the design of this zone. It's a really cool looking zone. I like the way they've kind of done. Like it's a really open area and you've got some trees, but the trees are not clogging up your field of view. I think there's someone here exploiting the guards to kill the mobs, but as I said, I'm fine with that. Nothing wrong with that. It'll probably get patched out, but I haven't had any what I would call glitching though, as such. It feels as though need to check the settings. It feels as though maybe I've got some sort of aggressive form of FSAA on or something that is making it look a bit pixely. Some sort of garbage filter that they use. Right, so those scorpion nests that spring up seem to be the stars on the map here that are the activities to go to. Fair enough. Oh, we didn't go to... Did we go to the crystals? I think we did. It wasn't it. I think it was at the crystals where we got that annoying buff, debuff. I'm not sure. Let's go and check it out. I picked up yet another environmental debuff. I had a debuff on my character that it was there for years because either I didn't have, I wasn't high enough skill in something to get rid of it or whatever it was, whatever the requirement was. It was there for years. It was, and I'm sure this one's going to be the same. Infernal chickens laying infernal eggs. Yeah, this zone seems to have a bit of a demonic vibe. Some sort of demonic invasion type thing. There's craters that look like they're hellfires come down from the sky or something, or whatever. Oh, okay, yeah, this was where those... Yeah, we've been over here. This is kind of where the demon area is. The debuff there that I've got was talking about stacks. So am I going to end up with another stack on the debuff front? Probably. Can we rest up here? Or is this bad? Looks right. There are only certain types of pets that you can tame, but I really would be cool if they could start including some of these high level animals for taming. Like there's some like Cerberus down there or something maybe, or some such. It'd be cool to have one of those. Getting near to the demonic crystal wall. Doesn't seem to be a dungeon or anything here. There's no entrance I can see. A lot of scope to add stuff though. Up there's cool. Liz, you probably didn't see it earlier, but they've put the vampirism skill, its combat skill in, and it's a cool looking tower here. There's a guy stuck in a coffin under in the cellar underneath the castle, underneath the castle. Not really a castle, is it? Underneath the tower there. And I need to do a quest for him, but I've got no idea how to do the quest yet. Just want to unlock the vampire skill, really, just to give it a go. This doesn't look like an entrance to anything. Maybe it will be. Oh, hello. Oh, it's the cold section. Yeah, it's a tough game if you're someone with limited time, but you're kind of like a completionist. Like, I couldn't recommend it to someone like that. Maybe I just think that you'd drive yourself. Hi, Jacob. No, you didn't. No, I hope you didn't, because it's finished, isn't it? Ash's creation. They've fucked it up. It's crashed and burned. Yeah, I mean, so many of the skills, a lot of the combat skills have got like secondary skills that you can raise up to get an extra point in that skill and whatever it may be. Which I don't mind, but some of those secondary skills to level up to get like a little bonus point here or there. I think at a high level it just becomes just too grindy. I think, as I said before, it's difficult to explain, but to make progress at a certain point, and when I say too grindy, I mean like beyond, I think, what a classic MMO player would reasonably, want to get involved with. Ashes of Creation, eh? Holy shit! I mean, I'm not sure if it was actually a scam or not. There were some content creators quite a while ago who just gave up and said this is a scam. I think there was one guy in particular, British guy, I can't remember his name. Narc, who dropped the game after being a supporter for a long time. I don't know if it's I don't know if it was actually a scam, or if it looks as though the Stephen bloke just had a falling out with the other. I don't know how someone who's invested all the money and is like the main person of the game can have an argument with someone and leave the company. Like, what? Is there a lesson to be learned there? Like, don't hire a board and then give them power. Because I don't understand how. Like, I think he's invested, like, I don't know, all of his own money. But he's had to leave the company because he had an argument with some board. I mean, what the hell? Maybe they were heavy investors as well. I'm not sure, but get it right. Get your company right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was a scam or not. Like, I mean, when I watched it, I mean, I was going to buy it myself actually, like only a couple of months ago, when it went into like early access release or whatever it was. But I looked at the game and it just felt so unfinished still, even after all this time. Like the combat just seemed janky. I wasn't convinced enough to spend 50 quid or whatever it was on it. And I guess in hindsight, without any real prior knowledge, it turned out to be the right idea. But it just goes to show you, doesn't it, I think, the mess that the MMOs seem to be in. I watched a video from Lazy Peon recently as well, and he's kind of like, I've had enough of this shit. He's pretty much given up on MMOs, it seems. So yeah, it's just a... I think, I mean, like it's complicated, obviously, but if I had to sum it up, I kind of just think that what that guy said in that video summed it up for me, is that indie developers are making games for themselves. They're not making games for us. And the attitude is either you like the game that they're making for themselves or you don't. And while if you only think about that very quickly, you might think that's how all games are made, but the games have never been made that way. There's always been someone there, or a group of people there, investors, publishers, whatever, whether you like them or not, you know, reining developers in and making sure that it's just not a bag full of bad ideas, and that's kind of what I think many games turn out to be. I think because it's more arcadey based, I don't think it's going to be for everyone, but I've enjoyed watching the videos for Eternal Tombs recently. I only played it briefly, like quite a while ago, and it looks as though the combat is more action orientated than EverQuest. I think you've got like moving out of the way and roll. I don't know if you've got rolling or not, but I think you've got dodging and that kind of thing. But I love some of the class design. Like some of the class design, yeah, just some of the class design looks really interesting. You know, I think that's what we don't get. You know, I guess like Project Gorgon is a good example of some really interesting class design. Not always implemented particularly well, but you know. Yeah, definitely. I think like with everything, there's an element of this is what I want the devs to do, but I do think that we just are mostly in a period where devs are just sitting down and saying this is what I want to do, and you can see because you get a load of coping going on. You can tell with all the coping. I think you know when the developer keeps saying niche or maybe this game's not for you or whatever and stuff, that leads me to believe that they're not really interested in what you think about the game, and it's not even really made for you. You know, it's made for them. As I said, like on the face of it, it might seem obvious that of course they're making it for them, but no, not really. If you actually want to create a product that people are going to play and it's going to be successful, that's not, you know, it's not just about that. I'm sure that when the guys were making EverQuest, they had all sorts of weird and wonderful batshit and crap ideas they didn't put into the game because, you know, someone said to them, nah, it's not what gamers want. And that should be the main... I think it's become a thing now, isn't it, in gaming, and probably in everything, like comics and films and TV and stuff. Is that we seem to be in an age where creators just don't think they have to create stuff for gamers or for viewers. You know, it's more about it's all about them. In many instances, you know, like the audience now, like gamers, for example, are kind of treated terribly, called horrible names, and when they don't like their shit and stuff, you know, it's kind of, yeah, it's we seem to be in an era where the expected audience for the for a thing is ignored essentially for various reasons, whether it's ego or politics, ideology, whatever it may be. It's seems to be a... So I guess that's the zone edge there. That's a nice shot of the of that. But then it's kind of like the zone's obviously weird because they create their zones like in a rectangle, and then there's kind of, then you've got this wasteland beyond, which is maybe there's, I mean, it could be quite good if there was like a lore reason for that, I guess. But one of the things that I think about a lot is when I first started streaming P99 Classic EverQuest, so many people like came and went as you do, you know, but so many people said, I just want EverQuest with some different graphics and some different lore. And because, as I said before, MMOs have been figured out. They're done. You don't, you know, with Classic WoW and previous to that, that was it. They're done. That's what people wanted. But the problem now is that, as I said, it's just the developers are just, all the ideas they've ever had about putting into an MMO, they've decided let's just put them all in. Who cares? And if people don't like it, then tough. That's kind of, it feels like where we are. Yeah, that's it. And actually it appears as though that's literally what people wanted, rightly or wrongly. You know, whether people say, well, what's the point of doing EverQuest again but with different graphics? That seems to be actually what people wanted, because what they don't seem to want is what we're currently getting. And I know you get loads of people coping, and people say, oh, I'm playing Embers Adrift or Monster Memories or and oh, it's like, it is just like the next EverQuest. They're not. It's not at all. They're fundamentally just completely different games. I do think that's actually what people wanted ultimately. That's just what they wanted. That's an interesting tree. I also think that there are people who are saying that they want a new classic MMO to get their teeth into and stuff, but actually the reality is that they can't do it. I think that's kind of what a lot of the transient player base currently is. It's people who are looking to recreate something that they had, but they just don't have the time for it anymore. That's a problem. And these indie MMOs have become even more time dependent, even more grindy than the classics were, you know. So yeah, I just think that I think there are people out there who want to recreate the feeling that they got, you know, in the late 90s and early 2000s, but they don't have the time for it anymore. So I think that's what a lot of the transient population is. I think there's a very, very small amount of the population of classic MMO players who can actually dedicate their time to a classic MMO now. And I think that the vast majority of players are people who are looking to recreate something that they had, but it's just not, it's not going to happen. So they just keep moving from the next one to the next one. You know, I think that's the reality of it. But I think it'll continue. You know, people will move to the next one, because they think they've recaptured that feeling that they had 25 years ago, and then quite quickly they'll realise that that's not the case, and then they'll move on to the next one. Yeah, I mean, the development I don't think helps, because, as I said, I just think that I don't think that the games are in the spirit of classic MMOs. Personally, that's just a personal opinion. But I do think that it seems as though there is a thing where, you know, we're trying to recapture something that we had, but we don't have the time for it. It's just not, you know. Like I imagine a lot of classic MMO players have probably got families and stuff now. A lot of them. For someone like me who's older, I mean, I was 30 when EverQuest came out. So, you know, there's people like myself, and I know some of you who are a bit different. You know, we had our families when EverQuest first came out. That was us. Yeah, but a lot of people now A lot of people who played EverQuest as a kid or in their teens, you know, and now got their own kids and stuff. So I think that's one of the crucial elements that the developers miss by making the games like more grindy. You know, I think they're completely missing their. I don't think there's any market research done. Honestly, I've never seen any particularly. Like having your own Discord is not market research, you know, because that just fills up with yes men who will then kind of move on to the next game, you know. I don't think that's a good. Like, I'm not even sure if, like, if you look at some dudes who've created the most recent indie MMOs, like how much time have they put into indie MMOs in the last 10 years? Like, have they played on P99 or any of the other emulated servers? When I say play on them, I mean, like, have they played solidly for 10 years? You know, is it just like, you know, is it just logging in every now and again with a couple of mates and getting to level 10 or something? I mean, that's not. I don't know. Well, the problem with Monsters and Memories is it's just it's the next hope, isn't it? That's the thing with Monsters and Memories. It's just the next one that everyone seems to think is going to be the champion. But for me, I mean, I've played it probably a lot more than most of you, and it's just making similar design decisions that I just don't think the gamers want. You know, it's just not. It's not. I said it in the previous EverQuest stream that I did. P99, you log in, you check your backpack to make sure you got 20 food and water, and you go out and you play the game, and that's it. And essentially, the only barrier you have when you're playing the game, as any RPG should be, is your level. But all these indie MMOs are adding in all of this content that is like, look at this for example, right? I've in 2 zones, I've picked up 2 debuffs that are permanent until I get them removed. One of them I'm not even sure how to get removed. And that's just through experiencing the zone. There are too many of these things in MMOs now, in all of them that I've played, that seem to be just there to create some barrier for you that never existed in classic MMOs. They never had this stuff. They didn't have zone debuffs or zone environmental debuffs or issues or whatever it may be. I mean, I don't know if they've changed it recently, but like Monsters and Memories, like some of their desert zones have got sandstorms that make the zone they used to make the zone completely unplayable. So you turn up in the zone to level, a sandstorm comes in. I remember sitting in one once for quite a long time before it went away, and I thought, what a waste of time. Like, who thought this was a good idea? Yeah, it might sound cool, like when you're on a whiteboard, like, you know, when you're designing a game, but it was just rubbish. It was just rubbish. It just meant the zone was completely unplayable for the period of time. So that is a massive inconvenience to the player who's got to go off somewhere, and just has got to go and find somewhere else while this thing is on. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if these debuffs were temporary. So when you're in Verdania, you get a Hellfire debuff, right, while you're there, which is just a small debuff. It can stack, but like whatever. But these are permanent debuffs that you have to try and get rid of. And it's like, you know, and I think the thing is, all of these little issues, as I said, they're small in isolation, but when you put them all together, they're just barriers to fun gameplay that I just don't. Embers Adrift is another one that's got it's got all of them. Embers Adrift, you know, you've got to go and regenerate your stamina to 100 after quite a short period of time. You've got to go and repair your equipment. You know, you can't expand your inventory, so you've got to keep going and emptying your inventory. It's just barriers to gameplay, and gameplay should always be the most important thing. But as I said, I just think it's just an ego thing of, and we're all like it. Like, I mean, I've sat down and designed stuff in my head, like MMO wise, you know, I had this idea. I mean, as soon as I came up with the idea, I knew I immediately thought of 10 things that meant it wouldn't work. But I had this thing where I've got an MMO. It's released. Maybe there's like 3 servers or something. I don't know. Obviously there wouldn't be, but and I had this thing in my head where what I wanted to do was I wanted to play. I wanted to be a PC in the game, and as soon as the servers opened, I wanted to appear somewhere, and I wanted to give a player the option of becoming a vampire. But that option was it. That was the only chance that the server had. So if the player said no, that mechanic, that system never appeared on that server. But if they said yes, then like as the PC, I would kind of role play. I would role play and say to them, if you keep this secret, if you can keep being a vampire secret, you're the only vampire on the server. And if you're the only vampire on the server, you will eventually be super powerful. And there would obviously be like abilities and mechanics that would mean that there would be negatives of being a vampire, but there would be ways of hiding the fact that you're a vampire. But there would be some resource management involved, you know, or people or other players would start to say, this guy's looking a bit weird, you know, he doesn't look like a normal human model, that kind of thing. But alternatively, like that guy, the guy or girl, whoever, that person could choose to like spread the power around, so they could create a little secret coven. And I know it's difficult in games, right? Because you like, I would do that, and then immediately this person would do a video about it, a guide. Look what happened to me, with a stupid face on a thumbnail, right? Because that's just what people do. But obviously in my head, that the ideal would be like that this person that I chose would want to be a secret vampire, the only one on the server. And it was there, and it was kind of, so then it was kind of like I just felt it would be a great gameplay, like open-ended gameplay for each server. Like, what if the player accepted it, what decision would they make? And you'd probably get someone who would, as I said, would just create a guide and say, look, this is what happened to me. But I would hope that there would be someone who would take it on board and like really try to be the only vampire on the server and stuff. And maybe at some point down the line, like I would do a storyline where they would get revealed or whatever. But I thought that would be such a cool thing if it was just, if there was secret stuff on the servers that only one person potentially knew about, or only a small group of people would know about, and they were, and like I would try to, I thought, and then obviously you kind of think of all the issues with that. Well, someone would just give it away, so what's the point, and all that kind of thing. But I thought to myself, like, how could they be rewarded enough as they leveled? But those rewards are only really kept if it's kept a secret, essentially. And you could, I mean, I wouldn't even mind if someone was a dick about it, and they said, I'm this uber vampire, none of you are, so you can fuck off, you know. And they create their own little tower or something or whatever, I don't know. But then afterwards I thought to myself, well, actually, how would this work? I mean, it sounds cool on paper, but as I said, I immediately thought of 10 things that would probably mean it wouldn't work properly, or how you intended it. And I kind of just think that that's just how it is, you know. It's like you got to think, you know, what is really a good and a bad mechanic. Is it just there to waste the player's time? I think people misunderstand EverQuest design, like particularly if you've heard about it, you never played it before. Like, people just think it's just a massive, frustrating time sink, but it's really not. Like, there are hardly any barriers to gameplay. Like, the game doesn't really put anything in the way, apart from your level. That's all it is. Yeah, the Jedi thing in Star Wars Galaxies, I guess, was a similar kind of thing. I think it would be cool to appear in game to an NPC as an NPC and talk to someone. Like, maybe you could observe the servers for a couple of days. Maybe there's a way of choosing the right person. I don't know, you know, that kind of. But again, like as you say, it's one of those things. It sounds like a good idea on paper, but I don't. I mean, the thing is, I don't mind them. I don't mind like having an EverQuest, and then there's loads of extra content. But that content needs to be, it needs to be optional. So crafting, gathering, whatever it may be. Like when there's a load of systems in place that are preventing me from enjoying the game. As I said, like Embers Adrift was a massive, you know, was massively guilty of that. Then yeah, I think that's kind of where and I think people mistake. I was going to say, I think people mistake EverQuest's time investment with like difficulty and barriers, but I don't think that. But I don't think that was the case now. When I look at what developers are doing now, I don't think that was the case. When we play EverQuest now on P99, yeah, it takes quite a while to level, right? But there aren't any other barriers in the way to you going out and just enjoying yourself. I mean, even playing an ogre, like you can log in for a few hours session, and you know, 20 food and drink will last you however long you want it to last. So you really don't. There's really no interrupt. Assuming you've got like an inventory full of just normal bags, which will cost a few plat. There's no real barrier to you. EverQuest doesn't say to you, right now at this point you need to go back to town to do stuff that I want you to do to break up your game. You know, that's kind of like the. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any hope or interest in EverQuest 3, to be honest with you. I just can't imagine it being a good game. Well, I've used the example of Valheim a lot. I mean, I'm not a big survival building game person, but that game seems as though it's been designed by someone who is a big fan of those games and has played thousands of hours of those type of games, and they know what the player base wants, which is probably why it did really well. You know, it's like a. It almost feels like, to a certain extent, like small groups of people have got together who, like maybe one or two of them worked on an MMO 25 years ago, and maybe a few of the others like have played a bit of P99 or they've played a bit of classic WoW, and so now they're just making their own game. I don't think that, you know, I don't know. Like unless you're a genius, unless you're like the next like Raf Costa, or I don't know, like John Smedley or whatever, or you know, then it's not going to work out. It's just how it is. I'd rather baste my balls in a vat of boiling honey than watch any more of Fallout. I didn't make it to the end of series 1 because I kind of made my wife watch it, and after the first episode I didn't want to watch any more, but we'd kind of started watching it together, so like I ground my teeth, you know, and pinched holes in my legs just to get through it, and we eventually did. But no, I mean, season 2 makes the ultimate sin of dealing with Fallout New Vegas. I think that is unacceptable. I apologise. Probably going to offend some people that don't care, but it's a show written by morons for morons, and that is my honest opinion on it. Skeleton dickweed. Skeleton. the worst thing about these all these new shows adaptations is how just how eager the showrunners and the actors are to basically like revel in the fact that they're almost shitting on stuff. I mean, if I was an actor in Fallout, honestly, like if someone came up to me and said, "We want you to play, I don't know, Geralt in a Witcher show," and I know that Henry Cavill didn't do this because obviously he's a dude and he likes all this shit, but like I wouldn't like at my first press conference I wouldn't go, "Oh, I've never played Fallout before, I don't know what it is." Like, what a fucking moron, honestly. Absolute idiots, these people. They seem to want to go out. They seem to enjoy ruining stuff. Well, they do. I mean, they've said it basically, haven't they? You know, they don't like these subcultures that have always been like quite male dominated or whatever, and they want to change them. That's all that they're in it for. They don't care about Fallout. They just want to change Fallout. So it's not for the fans, basically. We've spoken about it before with games. Obviously, the indie MMO thing is a different reason. I'm not saying that they're... they just... It's just the same. Like Witcher, terrible. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Oh, my God. Just absolute... Well, it's. I mean, I think the best review I said I saw of Fallout Series 1 was Fallout. The Fallout show is a terrible show. It's an even worse Fallout show, and it is. It's got nothing to do with Fallout. I'm sorry, but if you've played the games a lot and you're a fan of the games and you like the show, honestly, I wouldn't normally say you're wrong, but I just can't understand that at all. It's just it's got nothing to do with the show. It changes the whole lore. it pretty much retcons every single thing. So I do apologise, but I can't understand that. I really can't. It's like the other day I saw someone say they're a fan of the Witcher books. They've read them all and they love the show. I'm sorry, you're not. You're a tourist. You're bullshitting. I just don't believe it. It makes no sense. It just makes no sense. Like, I just think that if someone said to me, "Oh, I like the Fallout show because I don't know, I like the costumes, or I like whatever or whatever," you know, I think the actress is hot, so I'll watch it just for that. Then I can understand that, but not someone who says they're a fan of the games. You know, it's just. No, it's not the timeline. It's everything. There are things placed in places where they should never have been. The two new shelters, is it 33 or whatever, would never have been there. They'd never have been there. The Master would have captured them. The Master would have taken them over. You've literally got a vault door that leads out into a big open desert. And literally, like, if you're going canonically with the locations, the Master was literally a stone's throw away. So those zones would never be there. Those vaults, they would never be there. The people would have been caught, and they would have been turned into super mutants. That is, and it's not just that; it's everything. It's all the lore around ghouls and how ghouls work. Everything, just everything. Location, timelines, everything's been ruined. It's got nothing to do with the fact that it's set. And Todd, I don't give a shit what Todd Howard says.